On YouTube, Jake Paul is called a Vine star, like a slur used for an outsider. But the truth is, Jake is actually one of the oldest YouTubers we still have around. Jake and his brother Logan have been uploading for 10 years, which is a lot longer than PewDiePie or Jenna Marbles, Markiplier, and most other veterans who may come to mind. Jake became a YouTube comedian when he was 11, and all throughout his teenage years, he never really stopped uploading for very long. And by the time he was 19, he was already a multi-millionaire from income derived almost entirely on YouTube. Jake Paul is one of our own, and although he was made by YouTube, he is intensely hated by most other creators now. Jake Paul is a complicated personality. On the one hand, Jake should be respected as an expert on social media and as a wildly successful entrepreneur. But on the other hand, Jake should be reviled for exploiting children as young as preschoolers. Jake is a highly perceptive and charismatic bully, as well as a savvy, self-taught businessman with a tireless work ethic for producing new garbage. Continue. Today, I'm going to try to take a closer look at Jake Paul's successful merch line, as well as reasons why Jake Paul vlogs are flat out against the law to broadcast in the United States, the United Kingdom, and the entire European Union. Come with Dr. Download as we take a closer look inside the mind of Jake Paul. Tonight's the night.
Despite my grades, I knew I was smart.
Are you a Jake Pauler? Kiss me in the mouth, you're my mom.
I thought it was sexy, okay?
Man, I wanted to see the bed that I was made on.
I just learned about their most romantic moment.
Jake Paul's content is illegal to broadcast in most countries he could name. I'm gonna show you why, and Jake is even gonna tell you why. It starts with the audience. Who is watching Jake Paul's channel? Now, we don't have access to Jake's analytics to verify his demographic according to YouTube stats. But heck, maybe Jake will just tell us who he's making videos for. Is he that foolish?
Who is your audience? Who do you make your videos for?
Yeah, my audience is definitely younger. I'd say it's like 8 years old to like 16 years old, and so that's where I try to like cater the content towards.
So who is your average Jake Pauler?
An 8 to 18-year-old.
8-year-olds, dude.
Scan the crowd at any Jake Paul fan meetup, and there are preteen fans as far as the eyes can see. And that's no accident. Jake Paul's content is targeting fans far below the age of 12. And despite all of the criticism and bad press that Jake Paul has gotten, and I sorted through quite a bit, no one has exposed all of the ways that Jake Paul is doing it. One recent addition to the Team 10 family, Ben Hampton, is 7 years old. Most adults, most high school students, most middle school students would not be interested in the fashion recommendations of a 7-year-old. As nice as I'm sure he may be, the average 13-year-old would not want anything to do with this kid. Yet here's little Ben on Instagram, repping Jake's merch, a Young Savage shirt, and spouting Jake's famous line, merch link in bio, counting down to 6. Willow is a 6-year-old who's now in the orbit of Jake's social media empire.
How old are you? 6? How old are you?
Now let's jump to 4. Titus, aka Little Jake Paul, one of the stars of Jake Paul's channel now.
You can't tell me what to do.
You just told me to do.
Is just 4 years old.
My little dude here is rocking the merch. Show him, turn him around. That's what I'm talking about. Didn't you have the underwear on too?
Oh! Another member of Team 10 is a cartoon. Little Donnie Red is Jake's make-believe friend and employee. Little Donnie Red looks designed after a minion, posts constantly on social media, advertises Jake's merch, retweets his raunchy music videos, and stars in Instagram posts alongside Jake.
Hey, nice butt, Alyssa.
Jake is building out a fan base as young as preschoolers, but is YouTube complicit in that? When the famous Vine invasion happened, YouTube's recommended feed and trending page supercharged the Paul's channels with subscriber growth, and both Paul brothers were featured prominently in the YouTube Rewind. If you aren't aware, YouTube Rewind is a promotional video that YouTube itself makes at the end of every year to showcase hand-picked creators. So yes, Jake is promoted to the wider YouTube audience, but how far down is he a YouTube star? Could the platform be feeding any Jake Paul content to viewers that YouTube knows are 8 years old or younger? The YouTube Kids app is one way to figure that out. The Kids app is a sterilized version of YouTube that many parents hand to their kids on an iPad and then walk away, trusting it to deliver age-appropriate content. I was curious if any Jake Paul content was available on YouTube Kids. I set up a YouTube Kids account for an 8-year-old and searched for Jake Paul. His name was in the autocomplete on a fresh install, but it didn't give me any results. However, simply removing the space in the name, as any kid might do, Jake Paul, returns lots of Jake Paul content. Vlogs, songs, highlight reels, and especially collabs with babies.
Erica! I need some breast milk!
Yeah. Jake Paul has been very busy collabing with family channels that make content for the Kids app and babies. Literal babies who advertise his merch. In this vlog, we're told that Jake likes these kids because they wear his merch.
I dress them in their Jake Paul, it's everyday merch, because you know how Jake is with his merch.
For some odd reason, and I believe advertising to children is the intent, Jake Paul...
Oh my God, he's changing.
Yo!
His Team 10 employees, his brother Logan Paul, who have no children of their own yet, have all been collaborating with family channels and babies. And by the way, even babies get the classic savage Jake Paul treatment when at the Team 10 house.
Winner! You gonna eat this whole thing? Most likely not. You know what I mean? Titus, it's Jake Paul.
Yo, what did you guys do?
Why are you yelling at babies now?
Can you clean it up? Clean it up!
So lit.
Get your hands off the car! Don't touch it! Don't you touch it!
Okay. I got this. Come on, man.
What's wrong with you, bro?
It's a Lamborghini!
It's a baby.
A baby is barrel rolled in the air on a trampoline.
No.
And then Jake improvises a comedy skit where a baby's put on the trampoline, and then Jake jumps on the trampoline, pretending to launch the baby into the air. Strikingly irresponsible scenario to show kids, any of whom may have a trampoline and a baby brother or sister. But blah, that gets into why Jake Paul content is inappropriate for kids to watch. And we will document many reasons why in a bit. But we're laying down this foundation first. The issue of advertising to children has been a battleground for parents and lawmakers and corporate interests since long before the television was invented. There's a huge history there. The reason for all the concern about it from parents, as well as the desire to do it from marketers, is the same. It's unclear to a child that advertising is intended to make you buy something. Younger viewers are unlikely to understand the difference between advertising and entertainment, and fantasy and reality. Children under the age of 8 are mentally incapable of viewing and interpreting advertisements with a critical eye. Children are more trusting than adults and more likely to do what they're told. And that's exactly why broadcasters and marketers want to advertise to children. It's big business. Since it's easier to control children than adults, and children wield enormous power over the spending of their parents, advertisements aimed at children deliver a huge bang for their buck. During an era of deregulation that spanned from 83 to 89, the floodgates were opened to children's shows built around toys. Toy sales drove plot lines on Saturday morning TV. Then in 1990, U.S. Congress passed the Children's Television Act. The law does several things that are intended to stop scumbags like the Pauls from exploiting younger viewers. The CTA dictates that shows may not include commercials for products related to the program or featuring characters from the program, which is called host selling. It also limited how many minutes per hour of commercials that children's programming can contain. That's 17.5% and 20% of the watch time. Maximum can be ads. Now let's store those numbers right here because we're gonna need them in a minute when we check out Jake Paul's content. Even if you haven't seen any Jake Paul content, you may have still heard some buzz about how aggressively he's advertising to kids.
They're marketing to kids extremely aggressively. There's some legitimate brainwashing going on. It's very predatory on these kids, and they're selling like garbage.
But until you sit through an actual Jake Paul vlog in real time, you can't understand how aggressively he's doing it. Take this one, for example, titled The Best Song We've Ever Made. Jake begins by plugging his new song, available on iTunes. Next, he plugs his live tour. Then he advertises his merch. Then he plugs his upcoming pay-per-view boxing event. Then he's back to merch, telling us there's a $500 prize being given away to people who buy in the next 72 hours.
$500. The second prize winner is going to win $250. Just go to fanjoy.com/Jake Paul. Enter the contest, guys. Get yourself some of the hottest merch.
Then he's back to plugging the song. Then in these segments, which really show the seams on how he employs repetition, Jake switches back and forth between stuffing the word tour and song and music video into as many sentences as he can.
My whole entire life is basically turning into a tour. My life is becoming a tour. Everything I do, man, I'm just I'm a tour. Tour.
Next, Jake walks into the area of the house that he's turned into a merch store. We see the URL of the store on the walls, and then Jake makes a merch store.
It's a merch store! Freaking merch store!
He lets his dog chew open a box of merch while he's plugging the merch, which brings Jake back to a tour plug.
Tour merch. As you can see, there's some tour merch inside of there. So if you guys come on tour, get your tickets in the description. If you guys come on tour, you're going to be able to get some exclusive merch that is only available on tour.
Then he puts glitter on his face and jumps in the pool to entertain kids. Not an ad. But then in the very next scene, in his car, there's a merch plug.
Got my new merch on. It's the new drop. Yo, check out the shorts too.
This rolls right into a plug for the boxing again, then a plug for the song again, then back to a merch plug again, 2 more plugs for the song, then another plug for the live tour, then a long merch plug. That's 23 separate ad reads built into one video. Out of a 13-minute and 50-second video, nearly 7 minutes of that time is devoted to advertising products. 50%. Now, remember our numbers here. 17.5% and 20%. And Jake understands and leans into heavy repetition as a principle of advertising. Watch how he describes it here when talking to Vice.
I think you have to market to them a ton of times to like make sure that they're like reminded of what message you want to push to them.
The words are artificially jammed into the sentences he says.
Trying to get me to bring him on tour so that he could yodel like that on tour.
We can say that Optimus Prime, by virtue of just being on screen and being a toy, was shilling toys for Hasbro. But these constant calls to action directly from Jake are an advertising hell in children's programming. Worse than anything we've ever seen on TV. We heard him say it, he admitted it, but Jake is clearly making content for children, with behavior like a rowdy child and added cartoon sound effects. Then he spends half the time of the video telling children what to buy.
So if you want to win $500, $250, or $100, then go to the website right now. Get yourself some Team 10 tour tickets, cop yourself some of the new drop.
But another prohibited tactic that Jake employs is to tell kids to tell their parents what to buy. That's called pester power, and it's illegal under the Unfair Commercial Practices Directive of the European Union. Jake actually even goes a step further in some of his videos. In the Christmas song, where the chorus was literally buy that merch over and over.
Buy that merch, buy that merch, buy that merch, buy that merch, buy that merch.
Jake instructs the viewer to tell their parents to buy all his merch.
Go tell your mama she gotta buy it all.
Imagine for a moment if host selling and advertising to children had never been regulated. How much that would have diminished children's programming in the past.
Buy that merch, buy that merch, buy that.
Although Jake, by his own admission, does try to create children's programming, it is not appropriate for children. Not even close. Jake recently took a turn into making horror content. In a series of videos this summer, Jake and his roommates experienced home invasions from a gang of killer clowns. Unknown adults wearing scary masks with blood on their clothes. During this time, Jake Paul changed his channel name to Jake Paul Will Die. In scenes that are intended to distress the viewer, home invaders swing metal baseball bats all around Jake's dog, debate stabbing the dog with a butcher knife, hold the dog hostage, and then in scenes that really upset young fans, bind, kidnap, and terrorize Jake and Erica. If this were a movie, maybe PG-13, right? But too distressing for 8 and younger. And for evidence that Jake Paul's fans cannot distinguish between reality and fiction, countless videos were uploaded to YouTube by concerned children. Some of these kids sobbing, asking for police to intervene, asking for someone to pay the ransom, begging the kidnappers to let Jake and Erica go.
Erica and Jake got kidnapped. And they were like all surrounding Jerica and them, and they got tape on their mouth. And they were crying on each other.
The title says Jake Paul will die, so
they changed the channel name. It was called Jake Paul Will Die.
And the channel's name now it's Jake Paul Will Die. What the heck?
Jake Paul and Erica are like my favorite people. And like, I don't want them to die.
I don't know why they will kill him. And we don't want him just to be dead, actually.
He's my hero and my best friend.
Let Jake Paul go.
I was really scared.
The clown got a knife. One of the clowns were about to kill the blonde dog.
I know they wanted to kill Thor.
And they're cutting one of Jake Paul's dog's head off.
Yeah, they could
save Jake Paul.
They beat him with a bat to death.
Like, I'm so mad right now. Knowing that your favorite YouTuber might die is really sad. Don't kill them. You don't need to kill them. You don't need to kidnap them. You don't need to do anything. If you do, you're just going to get in more trouble.
Someone please save him.
It's not worth killing somebody to make you feel better. Don't do that.
Let Jake Paul go right now.
Bring them back to their house. Don't kill them.
A lot of people think it's fake, but it's real. Ew, it's fake, JGB.
But it's not, guys.
It's not fake.
Actually not fake.
Jake Paul, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, buddy.
After this video, I'm changing my YouTube name.
I probably might quit YouTube, guys. I'm not gonna make no more videos.
And they said they'll kill every YouTuber. But that's not true.
They will not kill us.
If the clowns know where we live, you will not find out where we live because we are not telling you.
I don't care if they come to me.
And I will say, take me hostage.
I will beat you you'll die.
I don't care if we have to move to another country. I just want them to be alive.
It doesn't matter because I've gotten beaten up a lot.
I already did something about it.
We're gonna take a flight to LA.
Look for evidence. Dude, call the cops.
Yeah, and we're gonna tell the LA police.
We can literally call the cops.
Someone save him, please.
If y'all are his family watching this, guys, go to his house. Check everything out. Go.
If you can.
Go to the bike trail. It's by a bike trail by Team Tintile. Give the clowns 1,000.
We need 10 grand. No, we're gonna give them 10 grand.
So they will let him go because we need Jake Paul back.
Just pray for them.
Pray for them. We're gonna pray.
I wasn't expecting this to ever happen.
On websites where parents rate age appropriateness of children's programming, the reviews from adults seem to agree. Jake is a bad babysitter. As we look at some of the faces of kids invested in Jake Paul content,
I love you.
Consider how sexual these videos tend to be. The amount of sexually charged content is significant, and the fact that it'll be watched anyway by unsupervised kids is acknowledged by Jake in the titles. Notice how the wording here is, don't watch this with your parents, not don't watch this with your kids.
Who is your audience? Who do you make your videos for?
Yeah, my audience is definitely younger. I would say it's like 8 years old to like 16 years old, and so that's where I try to like cater the content towards. I try to be as clean as possible.
This is great.
Jake's cousin and mother reacted to one of Jake's videos, and the cousin gently states that it's too sexual and not appropriate for Jake's young fans.
Little kids watch his things, and it's like kind of inappropriate at some points. Like, I got a little uncomfortable and I'm 16.
The mother, however, strangely emphasizes the sexual nature of it like it's the best part.
I thought it was sexy, okay?
Which brings us to the weird stuff. Some of the sexy clickbait with Jake's employees who play the role of his girlfriend at least follow society's norms. I'm not saying for certain that the Pauls harbor a sexual curiosity for family members. I am saying that you might not find their incest humor appropriate for yours. The layers to their incest play go all the way back down to their roots, like rings on a tree. Jake role-playing as a girl, pretending to climax his brother Logan. The mother squats her son's crotch and smacks his ass. This freeze frame. Mother's hand on son's crotch. How do you feel about that? I don't think that frame should exist. Or how about Jake's mom twerking in front of Jake while he vlogs?
No!
There we go. You just don't care.
You should. Do you want to go on a date later? Sure.
Or the mom in the same room with her adult son while he's naked, recording it.
Well, it looks good on my
Don't
camera.
forget I'm naked once again. Jesus, this is bad.
I'm no longer naked. That would be weird.
Yes, that would be really weird right now.
My mom's sitting on my lap.
Yeah.
Or son saying, "Mom, come into the bathroom and shave me."
Right now?
Or how about Jake calling his girlfriend his sister?
I love you, Mom.
Mwah. Thanks,
Why you just try to kiss me on the mouth?
I didn't. I was
Yeah, you
gonna kiss
did.
your cheek.
Yeah, you did. I got you.
No, you're
did it again.
the one who
You
did
did
it.
it again. I'm not kissing you on the mouth. You're my mom.
What's with forcing your parents to kiss for you?
I just feel like you guys need to. I feel like you guys need to kiss. Come here. I just feel like you guys should.
What's with asking to record the story of your conception?
Is this the bed that I was made on? Man, I wanted to see the bed that I was made on.
No, there was no bed.
There was no bed.
What?
It was in the woods somewhere.
It was in the
No,
woods?
it was at the beach.
Bro, they both had. They both said no
The
bed.
beach.
It was at the beach?
Yeah.
It could have been the woods or the beach because we did it a couple times that night.
Oh.
What's with two brothers banging the same girl?
I will make you out with your ex-girlfriend again.
What's with pretending to have sex with your brother stuff?
No, fuck you. Fuck me when? Now?
What's with making the Martinez twins hump each other stuff?
He said to us, you guys should do it.
And we were like,
do it, do it,
yeah,
do it,
and we
do
were
it.
like,
why we have to do that?
What's with the role play games where the brothers pretend to be girls and kiss each other stuff?
Oh, it should be a lesbian.
Yeah.
I'll be,
You be Amanda Cerny and I'll be Amanda Cerny.
Kiss it out. Hug it out, boys.
Don't be scared. They're brothers. Do it.
That's right. Incest.
That's how you keep it in the family.
Incest.
What's with the jokes about this friend having sex with your mom?
This is not the first time she was on her knees on my mom.
What's with the jokes about this friend having sex with your mom?
I'm savage.
No, Mom, no.
Bye, Johannes.
Yo, stop, Mom. Come here.
What's with the jokes about all of your friends having sex with your mom?
Come on, Mom. Mom. Yo, my boy better not smash my mom.
Why is there a running theme about friends having sex with your mom? What's with your mom bragging about your revealing wrestling singlet?
Young Jake in a singlet. Here you go, ladies. You get to see Jake in a singlet. Oh, yeah. Logan Paul in a singlet. Look at him. Look at him move.
What's with your mom talking about whether a condom would fit your penis or not?
Do you remember the first time we had sex?
What was wrong about it?
The condom broke.
Oh, yeah.
He bought that condom in 8th grade at the CVS at the corner, and I told him it wouldn't fit. Yeah, I did.
For most normal people, thoughts of your parents having sex, or your children having sex, or the size of your son's penis, or the story of your conception are about as off limits as it gets.
The first spot we hooked up.
Bedroom? Yeah, I'm not surprised.
But for the Pauls, those topics are mined for comedy, or for your naughty thrills, I guess.
Oh, so Beth taught you a few things, like how to kiss.
I chose the right mom. You did. When I was fighting all the other sperms to get out of Dad's, I'm glad I was the first one.
Now, what the Pauls might say in their defense is, look, we're just super comfortable around each other. We're a tight family, and we tend to put our hands on each other, and we'll talk about any topic. And that may be true, but they can't claim they don't know they're crossing taboo lines because, again and again, they choose to clickbait the family sex edginess in the thumbnails and in the titles. It's why they used the shocked emoji. But if you do that too many times, one being too many, in my opinion, it starts to raise some eyebrows. It starts to seem like maybe some wires are crossed in your head.
Incest is wincest, boys!
And the fact that Jake's dad is creepy is such a meme shows that he's ringing alarm bells in the minds of young kids. When Jake had a kissing contest that involved his dad and him kissing and swapping spit on the same young fan, a lot of people spoke up about how uncomfortable that made them feel.
It's fucking gross. It's fucking abysmal. Like, what is this? They're in a row, and they're like...
Is this what goes on at Team 10? It's just like a giant freaking gangbang with his dad involved?
Oh yeah, Jake Paul, now you do it.
This shit is pretty creepy, dude, but wait. Daddy didn't even get a kiss yet.
Kissing the same girl as your dad. Like, who the fuck would do that?
Yo, Jake Paul's dad is coming in. Jake Paul's dad.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Is that just the most putrid thing? I love how he goes in for like 3. He goes in for 3. He knows he's not getting any hot tail like this for a while. Daddy takes full advantage.
But then Jake Paul literally kisses the same girl as his dad just kissed in a matter of 30 seconds.
Can you imagine kissing the same girl as your dad? Like, this is so fucking weird. This is so weird.
Am I the only one who kind of says it's kind of fucked up? It's kind of fucked up.
By the way, if you go in the comments and read, even his 12-year-old girl fans know that this is pretty creepy. Oh my god, that poor girl would have totally felt pressure to kiss. Look how many guys were standing around her asking if she wanted to participate. The whole scene was horrible to watch. Why would a young girl kiss Jake's dad? Am I the only person that finds this really wrong and very cringe? When a 12-year-old is coming up to you and being like, dude, this may be a little inappropriate, I think you better daddy up.
Can you imagine being the dad?
Greg Paul literally disgusts me. That girl was way younger than him. It honestly made me so uncomfortable to watch this. I'd be embarrassed if that were my dad.
This is the worst. This is as low as it gets for Jake Paul.
Perhaps rightfully so, the idea that Greg Paul is creepy has stuck to him and he can't seem to shake it. It's even brought up by the Suns' boxing opponents.
You're disgusting, delusional dad. You're disgusting, mate. You wouldn't mind lasting 1 round with all the little girls you like kissing.
Jake's dad gets told he's creepy, even on his own live streams, to the point where he gets defensive.
One person making a comment that they were like, hey, that's kind of creepy. Well, if you think it's creepy, you're a dumbass.
And that is 100% the fault of the Pauls for making sexy, edgy family clickbait.
And in YouTubers making other YouTubers look bad news, we have our buddy Jake Paul back in the news. He popped up in the news today because he had issued a challenge to his very young viewers that he called the Chalkboard Challenge.
Here's what you guys are gonna do at home. You guys, Jake Paulers, you're gonna go to your school and you're gonna write
Jake Paul challenged not only me, but all of the Jake Paulers to go into their school and write fanjoy.co/Jake Paul on the chalkboards in their school.
Write the link to my merch site, take a picture, tweet it, and I will follow you on Twitter. And it turns out many of his young fans did this, and then they got in trouble. Some examples: I got in trouble. Another saying they got detention for doing it, to which Jake Paul retweeted and said, LOL slay. I mean, we really shouldn't be surprised regarding Jake Paul and what he's telling children to do in their classrooms, and then is like egging it on even more when they get in trouble. It seems very apparent, despite whatever words he uses to say otherwise, or sad music, or just like, guys, I'm connecting with you kind of stuff. He likely sees these kids as things, as dollar signs, as a means to an end.
What is up, sponsors?
So, I am trying to sponsor Jake Paul.
I just want to say thank you guys for becoming a super sub.
The thing is, I don't have, enough money, so I can't right now.
So I wanted to wait a little bit to post a video to let some more super subs roll in, but guys, you are an exclusive group now. You're the exclusive OG homies.
As soon as I get the money.
Thank y'all for becoming a sponsor.
If I get $20, I'll sponsor him for 4 months.
Y'all are super subs.
If I only get $5, then I'll sponsor him for a month.
You're super Subway subs.
They're kids, and you have a lot of power over them.
Jake recently bragged about making $50 million last year.
I made over $50 million this year.
With all the constant calls to action for children to buy his merch, one would have to believe that a big chunk of that $50 million is in merch sales. We need to take a close look at the merch side of his business. A really close look. And in order to do that, we're gonna finally go inside the mind of Jake Paul. Jake Paulers, we're going in. Oh, great. Welcome to the dumpster. So, Jake recently taunted his boxing opponent about the way that he dresses, chanting Walmart over and over. Became a bit of a meme.
Walmart!
But if we're talking about cheap clothes, Jake knows that the real meme should be chanting Clip Art back at him. Because his merch is filled with clip art. I isolated the graphics in his hideous-looking fashion line, reverse image searched them, and got a bunch of hits. He says he's a fashion designer. No, he's catfishing the public with this merch. This wave design, this Lamborghini, this goat, these boxing gloves, the logo for his entire line, the God Church even. All clip art. This is the best looking sweatshirt Jake's got, and that's not saying much. And even this was straight up stolen from a real designer. The guy who was already selling this design called Jake out on Twitter. You children should be embarrassed to wear this to school.
Kids, if you wear Jake Paul merch to school, everyone is gonna think that your dad is dumb.
Rusty Cage, the knife song guy. You hate children. What are you doing in a mind filled with children?
I'm trying to learn how to rip off kids. That's all this guy thinks about.
That's not all he's thinking about. You should see what he's thinking about his mom over there.
Ask the devil. What are you doing in Jake Paul's head?
Mom stuff.
They smell like my dad, smells like his cologne. I miss my dad, cause he is never home.
I think the only way to sap this guy's power is to do one of two things. First, humiliate kids for wearing Jake Paul merch. And two, shame parents for making this guy rich. What do you say, fellas? You want to roast this merch?
It's pretty easy to make fun of. He's basically just tricking kids into dressing like NASCAR fans.
I can only imagine, like, if I had my own car, the Jake Paul Jr. car, like, what would that look like? It would just be like Fanjoy.co stickers all over it.
Jake does wish he was a race car driver.
I think you can see that in the designs. This is Jake's I wish I grew up to be a race car driver bootleg version of race car driver merch. You know, when a driver will sign over top of the number of his car or his initials.
And I wouldn't officially be Jake Paul Jr. if I didn't get myself some official NASCAR merchandise, bro. Realize, bro? But they sell Jake Paul merchandise here too. Look at that, bro. Yo, who knew that they sell Jake Paul merch at a NASCAR event, guys? Oh my God. We just saw a crash happen. It's lit, bro. It's so loud.
If you enjoy car crashes, it usually means that your dad is dumb.
Statistically, yes, that is a true statement.
NASCAR crashes are absolutely insane.
Being a NASCAR fan makes you look dumb and poor.
You're right, little Donnie Red. It sure does. Goodbye. Whoa.
Don't we all just love a little NASCAR?
This terrible logo with the wings appears to have been stolen from a bumper sticker for pickup trucks.
With the skull, it looks kinda cool, but the wings, not so much. It's like an Aerosmith tattoo, or REO Speedwagon's logo. It looks like a tramp stamp that a filthy old lady would have on the small of her back. Jake only thinks this looks cool because his father's a bozo. Kids, do you want people to think that your dad is like Greg Paul, the worst, dumbest, creepiest dad on YouTube?
Angel wings have been a little cringy to me since long before the 1970s. I look at old depictions of myself, I get embarrassed. Don't do that to yourself. Don't wear wings. Don't wear wings.
Besides, kids, do you really want this guy scribbling his name on you like you're his little property?
Like a newborn calf, branded forever with the name of its owner.
Most cattle are wearing a cooler brand than Jake Paul.
Having Jake Paul's signature on the middle of your shirt is ridiculously stupid. It's like buying a fake autograph off eBay. How far do you think you're gonna get in life?
Not as far as Jake is gonna get. See, if you pay Jake for this stolen clip art from Google Images, you're the sucker.
Yeah, don't even get me started on the Jerica merchandise. I mean, do you really want to wear something to commemorate an imaginary relationship? I mean, do you want to be his imaginary girlfriend? He's not even paying attention to you in the drawing.
This dropout hoodie design looks like the worst Garth Brooks merch ever.
I like that.
If you donated these to a thrift store, they would probably throw them in the trash.
And I really like that. If you're dumb enough to pay for that merch, odds are your kid's just as dumb as you are. Do not let your kid drop out of school.
It's a shame you can't use that mine helmet to go back in time to when Jake and Logan first started making merch and changed the course of history.
I can. And he definitely can.
Yeah, I got this. I've warned you about using that helmet too much.
While Dr. Downvote is busy doing whatever he's doing inside Jake Paul's mind, I want to show you just how easy it is to make a Jake Paul quality merch design. As it turns out, Jake Paul's Jerica design is basically just a clip art of a goat with his signature on top. Let's make a similar design in Photoshop. Jake and I both have animal nicknames for our girlfriends. He calls Erica a goat, and I call Nikki a raccoon. Both are animals that eat garbage. So maybe a clip art raccoon with my name written over it could be our terrible t-shirt design. So I'm gonna jump out of the seat, and this will be Nikki's first graphic design. Public domain, clip art, raccoon. Let's look for one that looks like a stencil. There we go. Right click, copy image. I'll click file, new. Edit, paste. Great, there's our raccoon, there's our design. We're almost done. Now we need to pick a font. And we should do something that looks kind of like fancy cursive handwriting, like a signature. Scriptina is a really overused font, but it's free to use for commercial purposes, so let's go with that. Okay, now click on the raccoon and write nerd. Done.
That was easy.
Great job, graphic designer.
Hey, what is up, Nikki? Yo, I love your designs. I saw some of them. Sorry, I can't talk. Keep on grinding on them, you little nerd.
Thanks, Jake. What was that, bitchy?
Peace out, Nikki.
Please don't get the impression that that was Jake endorsing our merch design. I'm not showing you that for our commercial purposes, but I do think it's in the public's interest to know that Jake's mouth is for hire. Jake is so blindly money hungry and eager to monetize every second of his day that you can hire him at a rate of about $24,000 an hour to read messages for you. Anyway, back to our merch project. One of the oldest and easiest ways to slap a design on a shirt and do print on demand is Cafe Press. So let's put this on a Cafe Press store. First, we have to pick a store name. I think the name should communicate how little effort went into this. Basically just taking some clip art and writing my name over top of it and then making a store. So something that sounds fast, like Zoom or Swoop or Swoosh. I know, how about Zoosh? Just like making this, like Zoosh, we're done. Now we need to plan our advertising. And the demographic we want to reach would be people who want to wear clip art on their clothes, like Jake Paul fans do. We could show an ad for this as a pre-roll on Jake Paul's content. And if we do that, we're definitely going to want something that would catch the attention of Jake's younger audience.
Zoosh, if you want the newest look in town. Zoosh, if you want the worst merch around. Zoosh is the trashiest clothing line. If you want to look like a douche, wear Zoosh. We take Google images found online. Zoosh, and we use clip art design. Everyone will think your dad is dumb. If you want to look like a douche, wear Zoosh.
Since we're looking for aspiring douchebags and people who like lazy ideas,
I'm Jake Paul, and this has been Stunning on Hoverboard.
Zoosh, if you want the newest look in town. Zoosh, if you want the worst merch around. Zoosh.
All of the profit, if there is any, from our Cafe Press store will go to PBS, an organization that, unlike Jake Paul and Team 10,
no, you shut up!
Actually does make suitable content for younger viewers. I wonder how Downvote's doing in there.
Listen, Logan, someday I'm gonna help you get rich, selling your own brand of douche merchandise. But today, I need you to help us sell our merch, Zoosh.
Link in bio. Say Zoosh items in bio.
Say Zoosh.
Zoosh items, I'll put the link on the side. You might want to check that out, maybe buy some stuff, get some clothing, of Zoosh. It's called Zoosh items. I'll put the link on the side.
He's talking about merch. Back in the day, they were talking like they already had this in their head back then, I guess.
Did she just call us this?
Listen, lady, pronouns. If you don't want to call us Nerd City, then the correct pronouns are they or them. And my preferred honorific is Doctor. Or Dr. D. Or Dr. D.
Dr. D, what is up? Congratulations. Best of luck with your product launch. You make the world a better place. Say hi to Rusty for me. Love you both. Peace out, y'all. Dr. D!
Zoosh.
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 I don't even know what I'm about to watch.
Say link in bio. Zoosh items in bio.
Randomness. Where did we get that name?
Some dude is running around outside naked and covered in duct tape.
This is weird. This is YouTubeception.
Oh, you really are Trojan horsing these guys.
You listen to me! This family has no problem exploiting children, so I have no qualms about using a time machine to go back and take advantage of a 13-year-old Logan and a 11-year-old Jake Paul.
Yeah, this is pretty funny. Because now their old videos are linking to our merch.
What's extra funny to me is that we'll know the Pauls have seen this video when suddenly their old channel no longer promotes our merch.
What do you say we just right now?
Come on, whoa. Oh, rest of you, and I'm stuck with them full time.
Jake Paul doesn't respect teachers. He likes to rub his own success in the face of his old teachers. He made a general diss track at the job of teacher, and sometimes he'll even call them out by name when he's showing off his nice things in his vlogs.
Yo, Mrs. Clark, you're an English teacher. Do you have a library in your house? With me! Look at this! Mrs. Clark, I know your school got an elevator, but do your house?
Not all teachers are saints, but I think teaching is a noble thing to do with your life. Not really a controversial statement. Most people who aren't scumbags would agree with that.
Like, he made a song about school teachers and stuff. Everything you stand for is just wrong.
The job almost never pays what it should, and people who go into the profession usually have to make a choice to sacrifice any chance they had to start a business of their own, or at least have to limit the amount of time that they work in the field of the subject that they teach. So part of what I think is really cool about Skillshare is that many of the teachers on the platform are actually doing the subjects that they're teaching. They're successful and busy entrepreneurs. These are people that simply wouldn't have the hours to lecture a classroom of 30 students 5 or 6 times a day, 5 times a week. But what they can do through the Skillshare platform is record a lesson plan on the subject that they're experts on, and then reach tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of students over time with that one lesson. Right now, I'm trying to learn everything I can about t-shirt production. And as we saw earlier, it's really easy to just slap a design or some text on a t-shirt and get it printed on demand. But I suspect that if you're trying to make clothes that people would buy for more than just a meme, you should probably dig in a little deeper. Jeff Staple is the man behind the Staple brand. He's designed shoes for Nike. His design firm has clients like Sony and Microsoft. He's definitely a doer, and he teaches on Skillshare. I watched his class on t-shirt design and manufacturing. From that, I learned about terms that I heard tossed around in my research, but until he explained them, I didn't really know exactly what they meant. And that's just one lesson that I found interesting. As of today, there are 22,000 different classes on the platform, on subjects like graphic design, social media, photography, writing, animation. Nerd City is sponsored by Skillshare, and I'm glad that we are, because I would probably be on this site anyway. That's what makes this really easy to talk about. If you follow the link below, they'll give you 2 free months to try the site for free. You can take that time to watch tutorials and start learning things and figure out if it's a subscription that you want to maintain after the trial is over. Without the promo link, you can still try it for free, but they'll only give you 1 month instead of 2. So if you decide to click through the Nerd City link in the description, then you'll get a better deal, and Skillshare will know that our promo works, which helps the channel. Plus, they gave me a login and I can keep using it.
11-year-old Jake Paul is now plugging this awful merch.
Oh, well, great. Adult Jake Paul loves them.
Yo, I love your designs. I saw someone.
Nice.
He's been very encouraging.
Tonight, I'm gonna celebrate this win, but I'm also excited to announce that I'm launching a clothing line called RNBO.
If you buy RNBO, people will think your dad is dumb.
Rise and be original. That's my saying, guys. Fight like a champion, be original.
Huh?